Hey Camp Cretaceous fans, I wanted to share the full Q&A that myself and a few other bloggers got to partake in this week leading up to the season 3 release of Camp Cretaceous. We sat down virtually with the voice actors for Darius and Sammy, and I wanted to share the full Q&A as I know some of you are huge Camp Cretaceous fans. Make sure to watch the new season coming this Friday on Netflix, brought to you by DreamWorks Animation, Universal Pictures, and Amblin Entertainment.
Hi.
Good morning. So thank you for meeting with us today, and congratulations on a third season. That's so exciting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now you are both quite the accomplished young actors. You're like, seriously, your resumes are ridiculous. And you have had a lot of work in both live action and voice acting roles. Does your creative process differ for those, like in the preparation that you do? And do you have a preference?
Rainey's been doing this longer than me, so I'll give this question to her.
Yes and no. So I feel like as an actor, I sort of approach every script with like good character breakdown, figuring out, where I fit in the show, the movie, or the scene, what my character's, goal is, point of view, her relationship between herself and the other characters and whatnot. As for voiceovers, I prepare a little bit more with like a lot of throat coat tea, a lot of warm water. I know it sounds funny. Sometimes I have to stretch a little bit because especially for this show, when you're running from dinosaurs, you're not necessarily like running in the booth itself, but it's a lot of like heavy breathing. So you kind of got to get into a mental state for that, just because you will pass out or hyperventilate in the booth itself. But for the most part, I prefer it all. When you're doing voiceovers, it's great because you can literally wear your PJs, especially when we're at home recording. So we can quite literally wear our PJs while we record. Versus live action when, you got to show up professional. So that's kind of a fun thing to do. But I definitely enjoy the whole aspect of, filmmaking and recording and being on set and things like that. I do miss a little bit of the in-person interactions that we would get to have in our recording booths if we were like all in Los Angeles together. But for the most part, I love it all. Just the whole creative process is exciting.
Oh, sorry, you're muted, by the way.
I was going to say, did you want to add anything, even though I know you said you're going to give it to her?
Yeah, I mean, Rainey basically, she's always like giving the best answer. But yeah, I'd say that there are just these slight little differences in between. I'd say for on-camera acting, I guess you have to get into the main thing is getting into the physicality of it. And then for voice acting, it's kind of like that, but like to a slightly higher degree because you're portraying everything through your voice. Like people can't see what you're doing inside the booth. So it's like you have to continue to portray, and then on top of all the stuff that's going on in Jurassic World that you would like never scream about in real life or anything. So yeah, I feel like they feel like two different worlds despite being in the same industry.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I love your shirt and your background, by the way, and your
Yes.
You're like goals right now. You're just like awesome. You're rocking.
Thank you.
Next is Ashley. She's with Ashley and Company, and she's out of Virginia.
Awesome.
Hey.
Hi.
Background too.
I'm loving this background coordination. This is looking awesome.
I mean, it's way better than what's actually behind me. So,
It looks awesome.
So, like Jana was saying, you both have done so much, and you're kind of talking about how you prepare for your roles, doing the voice acting. What has it been like working through this show over the 3 seasons? How has your character changed? Are there aspects of you that you find in your character that you just, that's you, straight up you?
Yeah, for sure. Sammy, I tell everybody, Sammy is like a heightened version of myself. She's definitely me, but like times 10. We both come from Texas. I was born in Bryan, Texas, and she's from San Antonio. We both have big Latino families, and we're both sort of like the mother hen, the nurturer of the group. She for sure comes to Camp Cretaceous and expects everybody to already be best friends and to be like a camp fam already. So sometimes when that doesn't happen, she's kind of like thrown off. Especially meeting people like Yaz, and Yaz was super shy when she first met her and quiet, and Sammy didn't quite understand what that meant and what was that like to not be an extrovert. For sure, we're definitely a lot like each other. I feel like I don't know for sure if I would have survived this long in Jurassic World as much as Sammy has, but for sure she's been leaning on her friends a lot, which is really nice. But I really do enjoy over the courses of the seasons, like finding more things that I myself as Raini can put in that Sammy would have as well, like her wrangling up dinosaurs, or talking to the other campers and being like, the nice one, I understand, I'm here for you, I'm listening, I'm caring. And then they don't listen, and she's like, okay, enough of this, you're gonna do what I say, and you're gonna do it right now. And I have 10 nieces and nephews, so I know exactly what that's like, to be like, all right, everybody, let's play. Okay, we're not gonna play like that, let's follow the rules here. So I know exactly what that's like, to be able to kind of throw myself, take some of my real life situations, even though my nieces and nephews are not dinosaurs, sometimes they're kind of the same thing. So to be able to take some of that as an aunt and throw that in there as well is really fun.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with Rainy. One thing that people keep saying that I look like Darius, because I used to have big hair for people that have seen me like back when I was recording season 1 and 2. But yeah, I know that I feel like I always have that optimism that Darius has, and I'm always trying to like keep a smile on everybody's faces, because friendship makes the world go round. But a fun part of the characters is their dynamic and how much they connect to each other, despite being from totally different backgrounds and being from all around the United States. And I feel like a lot of that also comes from like our cast's dynamic, because we also come from a bunch of different backgrounds. And it's just the chemistry between the Jurassic Camp family and the Camp family behind the Jurassic Camp family. It's just like, we're all just one big family. And there have been times when we've like gone over recording times because we just keep screwing around in the booth and making jokes and having fun. But yeah, I feel like that's like where we've connected. Like our connection and chemistry inside of the booth has definitely helped the connection of our characters. And that's the one thing I love about this show.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Next is Monica. She's from Popcorner Reviews, and she's out of Pennsylvania.
Well, it's great talking to you both today. I mean, season 3, I just screened it, so no spoilers, but I think it's the biggest and probably the scariest yet. And I'm just super curious. Your characters have evolved, the story has evolved, campers have been on the island now for 6 months. How do you keep making the stakes bigger and more exciting?
I always have to give shout outs to our animators and our writers and our producers, and a really big shout out to our studio director, Serena Irwin. She's fantastic. We couldn't have made it without her. But I feel like there's a lot that goes into making a show, and all the people that I just referenced are definitely like, it can't happen without them. Some of the stuff that happens in season 3 shocked me, and I read everything like 3 times over. But I mean, it's just that in season 3, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. As you might know, there are like a few jump scares here and there, family-friendly jump scares, of course. But it's definitely out of the ordinary, and it also goes to show how much this season is kind of giving you stuff that's out of the ordinary. Like there are new threats that we haven't seen before. There's this crazy new hybrid dinosaur that's coming out that we have no knowledge about, and the only reason they survived on the island for this long is because of their knowledge of like animals and how they react. And this is something that they've never heard about or learned about, and it's completely unpredictable. So I definitely think it's going to make for a very interesting and very suspenseful season.
I definitely agree with Paul. our writers come up with such amazing stories. And not only do they have, stories to look up on to sort of set examples from the books and, the previous, franchise movies and things like that, but it's just like to be able to put each season, like Paul said, like I get shocked every time I read the script too. And when I got to watch some of season 3, same thing. I was like, oh my gosh, I remember reading this in the script, but that's what it's going to look like. Like, this is so scary. This is awesome. So I think for sure it's really great to bring in new aspects of it for sure. And being on the show and our season 3 already, we're kind of in an unfamiliar timeline. So we sort of get to set the tone of what we want to do on our show, and we have the freedom to do that, and our writers have completely taken that to heart and have added so many fun things to the franchise itself. Like Paul said, some new never before seen threats, things that happen on the island that the kids can't even believe is happening to them. Obviously character development, there's so many things that you can touch up on just the characters alone, of their backgrounds and how they're responding to that, and then being on the island together. And there's so many storylines that you can put together for season 3, and I'm so excited for everyone to see it and see what our amazing team has come up with this season.
Awesome. Thank you both so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Tati. She's from Cool Moms Cool Tips, and she's out of Florida.
Hi guys.
Hi, Kathy.
Hey, I'm going to Florida in June. Maybe, hopefully.
We're excited
Hopefully.
to have you. We're excited to have you. And thank you so much for season 3. It's super exciting. It starts off with a bang. And I'm very curious because you've been together already for 3 seasons. And of course, you might have had the chance to record together pre all this crazy world that we have now. And the team is such a wonderful team on the animation. It feels really like you have all come together as a band when you are in the booth. Do you have special funny anecdotes to share about recording together, or maybe about the difficulties of recording together remotely?
So when we're together, like in person together in the booth, we have so much fun. Obviously, I remember we all got to take a special trip to DreamWorks and record in their studio at DreamWorks, which I had never been to before. It's like in a deep basement with like no cell service, but it was really cool to be able to be in a big old room and just all, 6 of us record together. But when we had to switch over to Zoom recordings because of quarantine and things like that, I feel like that's really where we started to have even more fun together, especially because we're not in the same room. And it's kind of hard to get everybody together, to like chit chat and hang out and just have a Zoom just to hang out. And, it really is a good excuse to get together because it's for work, and, you make time for work. And it's that's really our time, was when we chose to make it our hangout time. And we're in the middle of recording an episode and we're sending like DMs to each other through the Zoom chat to make each other laugh. Or if someone has a certain line that they say that maybe they're messing up on, or the director wants it a certain way and it takes more than 3 takes, and then we'll change that, we'll take that line and like make fun of the line and like put it as our name. At one point we all changed our name to Sean Gambroni, who voices Ben. So then we were all Sean Gambroni on Zoom, and there's 6 cast members, and then we all turned off our cameras to be funny. So when they're like, oh, Raini, Raini, are you there? Raini? Okay, I'm seeing a lot of Sean Gambroni. Which one is Raini? And then we would all cut our cameras on. Like, things like that would just make the experience so much more fun. We record like 4 hours at a time. So to be able to have that fun and goof off a lot, I know we enjoyed it. I'm sure DreamWorks every now and then was like, guys, we got to stay on schedule, guys. We got to get this season out eventually. But we enjoyed it so much.
Yeah, I definitely have to say the same thing, because just our chemistry as a cast developed so quickly, because like we had so much fun. I think I remember one time, like once me, Causer, and Rainy, and Ryan, we got into the booth, and the last person to walk in was Jenna, and she was literally wearing a onesie to the recording. And we immediately all got the thought that like, okay, next time we all get into the same recording, we're all just gonna wear onesies. But yeah, it's stuff like that that just makes my day every time, because like we're all friends. And Rainy, she's like the mother of the entire group. Like, she made a group chat, and like we're all like constantly like texting each other like, oh, look at this article that just posted, or hey, happy birthday. And like, I mean, it's so fun to get to work with people, especially in a time like this when you don't really get to see people. It's definitely an awesome experience to just keep the conversation going and having lots of fun. But yeah, like Raini was saying, we've also had like crazy stuff happen in our at-home recordings. I remember this is never gonna, like, I'm never gonna live this down. I used to have a gamer tag this one time, and I was so embarrassed of the tag because it was something like XX Blood Runner XX or something like that. It was very edgy. And that
It was
day,
so edgy.
right, I had logged into Zoom through my email, and that was like my name in the email because it was supposed to be my gaming email for non-work stuff. And everybody saw that name and they were so confused. And then for that entire session, people kept naming their names, stuff like that. And I was like, oh gosh, this is never gonna end.
I think at one point they kicked him out because we thought it was like someone that sort of hacked onto the recording somehow.
Yeah.
Like turned his camera on. We're like, this person doesn't belong here. And we like kicked him out, and then he signed back on, and someone came on from DreamWorks. They're like, I think that's Paul. And we're like, oh. So then everybody would change their name to his gamer tag. Or be like, I only want to be referred to as, XX Blood Runner XX, please. So yeah, it's we definitely make fun of him still for that to this day.
Yeah, fly in the wall with you guys recording either virtually or not. So much fun. Thank you guys.
Full of laughs. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next up is Megan. She's from John Monkey outside of Atlanta.
Guys, thank you so
Hey.
much. This has been fun, and I love hearing these great stories about you and these Zoom sessions and the group chats. So obviously you guys have a great friendship going on. So I'd love to know, who is your favorite friendship from the show?
Ooh,
I think I can answer. Well, oh, that's actually kind of tough. That's a really tough question.
that's a
Because
really
in season 3, we see all of these friendships that kind of start developing in different ways. Like Kenji and Sammy, they start having fun. Darius and Ben, you see them start to connect also and like relive past things. And Brooklyn and Sammy, they kind of like go on this like detective adventure. And it's like there are so many different character dynamics and pair-ups that we still have yet to happen. So like one thing that I'm also anticipating is something that happens like between Darius and Sammy, or Darius and Yasmina, or like Sammy and Ben, something like completely out of the ordinary. That would be awesome. But yeah, I gotta say, I don't have a favorite because there are just so many different pair-ups that like are amazing.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think everybody's qualities, first of all, just the qualities to their voices alone, like when you hear their different characters interact with each other, is what makes it funny. Like anything that Ryan Potter does as Kenji is just hilarious. So anytime he talks to anybody, and like Paul mentioned, Sammy and Kenji get to have some fun moments this season where we get to see like their goofier side for both of them come out. I mean, let's be real. Kenji's character's been goofy for 3 seasons, but to really see like Sammy sort of joining on the fun on that, I really, really love that. Because anything Ryan does is hilarious. Anything Sean does is hilarious. And I love the whole dynamic of like Yasmina and Sammy, how Yasmina is so like straightforward, and like the way that Kaz voices her is just, it's not monotone. There's so much emotion behind her voice, but like the energy level is like at a 2 or 3, versus Sammy, who like every line is a 10. So it's like, it's so funny to be able to voice that with Kazer, and some of that comes up in season 3 of our friendship and the way that we voice with each other and things like that. So I don't know, any pairing together is hilarious because our writers write such funny stuff or emotional stuff. You're going to see some of that this season as well. Some really, really nice heart-to-hearts and some tug at the heartstring moments, and some really nice vulnerability and emotion that these characters sort of get to show you in their layers that we've seen in the past 3 seasons. And I'm really excited for people to see what it's like when the kids get to have fun and be kids, even though they're on like a deadly island, that they still get to have fun and be kids. But then when they get to band together and fight for a cause and, try to get off the island again, I love seeing those moments too, because the way that we all go about approaching it, with our voices and our actions and things like that is so beautiful. So I'm I'm excited for everybody to see all the different pairings. I think they're gonna have new favorites this season. I'm excited to hear what the fans think about this season for the pairings.
I agree. Thank you guys.
Thank you. I love your
Thank
hair.
you. Yes, I'm loving your hair.
Okay, we're back to Jana from Whiskey and Sunshine.
Oh yes.
Hello again.
Hi.
Long time no see.
Yes.
How long has it been? Like 5, 10, 30 minutes?
Yeah.
That's full week.
Definitely
Wow.
not 30, probably like 7.
Yeah.
So, you were just talking with Megan a little bit about like the relationships and, characterizations of some of the, groupings and whatnot among the characters. You guys have been playing these characters now for 3 seasons. If you could be any other character in the show besides your own character, who would you be?
Ooh.
I feel like it kind of influences like the character's attributes because as me and Rainy have said before, all of the characters all of the cast takes attributes from every single one of the characters in like different ways. But I don't know, Sammy, I mean, Rainy, you might have to go first on this one.
Ooh, that's super hard. Out of the 6 kids, I would probably love to be, it's either going to be between Darius or Ben, just because I love Darius's vast knowledge of the dinosaurs and the whole thing about Camp Cretaceous and everything about the Jurassic World in general. Plus, it would just force me to learn the dinosaur names because when we get our scripts, I guarantee you the other 5 cast members, we like go through it to make sure we're not the ones having to say the super long dinosaur names. It's always Paul that has to say it. And when we're in recordings together and he'll say it like the first take and we're like, oh, thank God. Because like sometimes he'll say it and then later on like another character will repeat it. So I would love to be that guy, the smart one that knows everything about the dinosaurs and how to pronounce their names right off the bat. I always say, well, I'm from Texas. We don't have that word in Texas. I know T-Rex, Triceratops, those are the only ones we know in Texas. And then I would love to be Ben, just because I think Sean is hilarious. And the way that the character of Ben is just written is just hilarious. And I love the whole character arc, how from season 1 to season 2, he does like a 180 of like this, shy, timid, scared Ben. And then now he's like primal Ben, like just, the king of the jungle out there. So I would love to get to have fun with that as well.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree. That brings up a funny story. I think in like my 4th recording, at the end of the recording, our one of the producers, Scott Kramer, he brought these dinosaur flashcards for me to read so I could get the dinosaur names. But the funniest part about it was we still didn't know how to pronounce them, even when the names were like clear right there. So then we had to get these literal audio files that they would play in the booth so I would know how to pronounce them. But if I had to choose 2 characters, I would say, because I can only choose 2 characters.
Yeah,
I can't just choose
cheated.
one.
I literally would love to play anybody else in this show as well. Like anything to be a part of the show. I'll be a dinosaur. We've had to roar a couple times, scream, things like that. So anything to still be a part of the show, I would play it. Just sign me up.
Yeah, definitely. I'd have to say like Kenji and Sammy, like in season 3, as like we had said before, their character pairing is just so funny and so energetic and so fun. Just being Kenji, being this like nonchalant, chill guy that's just always resting while everybody else does the work. I'd say that's me about half the time. But I definitely have to say I would also want to be Sammy because she's the glue of the entire Camp family, and she's always keeping everything together, and she always has a smile on her face no matter what. And like that's like an attribute that I would love to have all the time that she does. So like it's so hard to choose. I can't choose just one. It's no.
You could have more than one. That's fine. And also, you just need to find like a 4 or 5-year-old to help you with those dinosaur names, because my nephews like know all of them. They're all, I mean, they just recite them, and you're like, how did you learn that?
Yeah.
I don't know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Ashley from With Ashley and Company.
Hello again.
Hello.
Hello.
So I was cracking up that you had to get help pronouncing the names, because I can only imagine. Because not only like dinosaur names, but there'll be other things on the internet that I'm like, oh my God, what? I'm
Yeah.
a smart person, but I don't know how to say
Oh,
this.
You feel really smart, and then they put like a 26-letter dinosaur name in front of you, and you're like, ah, so this is the end for me. This is cool. Cool.
Like this is where I lose my job. Yep, there we go.
Great. Or like sometimes I'll be like in the middle of recording and Sammy talks very fast, and I'll be in the middle of recording something and I'll just like completely botch the dinosaur name, and I'll be like, I know what it is. Hold on, sorry. The struggle's real.
So if you had to pick a favorite dinosaur in the show, and hopefully it's an easy name to say, what would it be, or who would it be? And why are they your favorite?
I feel like our answers have like very rarely changed over these past few seasons, because there's been one dinosaur that has been just completely flooring the competition with us. I gotta say the hybrid dinosaur that's coming out is kind of like a close second for me, just because of again, shout out to our animators and our writers who created this crazy thing. But again, Bumpy is always going to be like the showstopper for me. Even with this accelerated growth where she's like 10 weighing
Massive.
10 tons and huge now, she's always like this cutest. She's still cute to me. So yeah.
Yeah, I 100% agree. It would have to be Bumpy. I mean, let's be real, Bumpy's everyone's favorite. I mean, Bumpy has been through so much with the campers. She is basically like our 7th cast member. Let's be real. No, I love Bumpy. I love the whole thing about her. I love that we got to watch her literally hatch from an egg. And I love that our writers have consistently up until season 3, like kept her in, and we see her, growing with us and going through the emotions and sort of learning from her the way that she's learning to trust us. We're learning to trust her and helping her out with that. Plus, the kids love Bumpy. My nieces and nephews just adore Bumpy, but it's Bumpy, Bumpy, Bumpy. So for sure, her. But I agree with Paul. I love the unrevealed dinosaur for this season as well. I think it's going to be really fun and really surprising for the fans to see.
Mhm. And I have to add one more thing onto what Rainey said. Was one thing that that has always been going on with this show is the dinosaurs have always been the main. They've always been the main cast member. Like it's what this show is based around. And to see something as intricate as emotion and something like an ankylosaurus like Bumpy is fantastic, because in season 3, you get to see a lot of not a lot of physical conflict, not just physical conflict, but a lot of mental and emotional conflict too. And one thing that I saw a lot of that in was Bumpy, which was really surprising, because you'd never think like, oh, this dinosaur, like you can clearly see that this dinosaur is like sad or mad or something like that. Like you've never seen it on such a specific level. And that's what I love about this show, is they give dinosaurs all of the credit, which they should, because they're like the cornerstone of what this is about.
Thanks. Yeah, my kids are Team Bumpy, so
Yeah.
they'll be happy you said that.
Bumpy's number 1 dinosaur.
Right.
We've got about 5 minutes left, so I'm going to try to get through these last 3. So Monica from Popcorner Reviews.
Hi, Monica.
Hi, everyone. So the Jurassic Park and Jurassic World franchise is loved by so many adults and kids alike. When you guys joined Camp Cretaceous, did you expect such a warm fan reaction? I've seen so much like art and like love online for all of the characters. Did you expect it? And what's it been like being part of this kind of fandom?
I think I speak for both of us and the entire show when I'm like, we were hoping for that warm love and welcoming into the franchise. It's always a risk throwing something new to something that is so beloved and is so well known around the world. To have a show like this, it to be animated, and we're kids and we're the forefront of the show, where most of the time it's always been adults, and kids have been, a focal point of the franchise, but to have them the main characters of this show, getting to introduce new timelines, new dinosaurs, new threats, new things, getting to explore Isla Nublar even more, and getting to invent the whole world of Camp Cretaceous. I think anything like that is always a risk, and I feel like it's really paid off because the fans have quite literally welcomed us with open arms. They are so excited. I like you. I've seen the fan art. I've seen the tweets and the DMs and the comments of, what's going to happen this season, and oh, here are my theories, and oh, I love this pairing, or oh, I love this, and is this dinosaur going to come back, and oh, look at the toys, and look what they've sent out next. Is this a spoiler? What does this mean? Like, they're so invested, and I love it so much. It's always a little bit of a risk entering something this big, and to have the love and the welcoming that we've had, we are so incredibly grateful and so lucky to get to go on this ride with the fans, because we are fans ourselves now, and so to sort of join them on this ride is super exciting.
Right, and I 100% have to agree with Rainy that like it was a risk, because making a spin-off, I guess, like prequel, sequel, three totally different things in a timeline, it was definitely a risk, because I guess when you're making something like this, you feel like that moral obligation to hit the expectation of what its predecessors were. And seeing the fans just welcome the show with open arms and smiles and saying like, this show is amazing, it's definitely something that I was hoping for. And seeing I completely and utterly forgot what I was just about to say. But yeah, I'm gonna end it there because I forgot what I was gonna say.
No, that was great. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tati from Cool Moms Cool Tips.
All right, guys. So we're definitely very excited about all the different seasons, and thank you for offering us such wonderful shows. I wanted to know, of everything you've done so far for your character, what is the one thing you're proudest about bringing your character to life?
Say it one more time. I'm sorry, my internet, you cut out just for that last part.
Yes, I'm curious to know, what is the one thing that you're the proudest about bringing your character to life?
Her strength and her perseverance to keep going forward. And I think, like Darius, she tries to be optimistic and she tries to see the brighter side of things. And in Sammy's mind, for her, Camp Fam is something that can happen for life, and she wants everybody to be together because the power of togetherness for her is something that nobody can ever break. So I love showing those qualities, especially to young girls. We have such a great example of 3 strong females on our show that all have different backgrounds and different personalities, but their main focus is moving forward, and whatever that takes, a little bit of sacrifice, a little bit of hard work, breaking out of their shell, showing their vulnerability, and opening up to others around them. But their main purpose is to keep moving forward and keeping everyone together. And I love showcasing that about Sammy. I love that she's Latina. I love that she comes from a big family. I love that she's a little bit more different than the kids there at Camp Cretaceous, but she does not let that stop her in being who she is. Sammy's number one thing is always just live your truth and always be who you are. And she loves showcasing that. So I love getting to voice that and getting to show her strengths and the fun that she has and her energy and her and her infectious love that she has just for this camp and her newfound friends. And I love getting to portray that.
Yes, I definitely have to agree with Rainy. The diversity in these 6 characters is fantastic because there's so much relatability in this cast. I think the one thing that I always am proud of pulling from Darius is his willingness to take leadership, because although he might not be he's 13 years old. So being on an island with 5 other kids, taking that role of leader and trying to, like Rainey was saying, push through and have perseverance despite not really having perseverance yourself is definitely something that that we all need. So yeah, I definitely feel like leadership is probably his highest quality that I think we should all take from the show.
Well said. Thank you very much. And thank you again. Good luck.
Thank you
Thank
guys
you.
so much.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to try to squeeze in our last question before our break. Go ahead, Megan from John Monkey.
All right, so this is a quick question, and it is directed towards these hybrid dinosaurs, especially the one that we get to see this season. So I'm excited. So, if you could create your own breed of dinosaur, what would you cross together?
Oh my goodness. This
That would look.
This is a fast. The question might have been fast, but is the answer going to be fast?
Right.
Quick animal. 2 quick animals or reptiles that you would pair.
Okay. I don't know. It feels like if you pair stuff, it would look weird, huh?
Yeah. You know, like a centaur dinosaur.
Right.
Something really strange like that. Well, my first answer was like, I love like cheetah print or like, you know, that sort of thing. Oh my gosh, can you imagine like a unicorn dinosaur? Like a colorful dinosaur though, like almost like a chameleon one that sort of like has like pretty colors with it maybe. But there is sort of like one that kind of can like, oh my god, that's a good question.
Man,
well, I guess like I was like, what about like a unicorn fish? But I guess it's like a narwhal. So I'm like,
ooh,
guys,
that sparks a question.
Nope, that's already been invented.
that sparks a question. What if I feel like a narwhal could be a dinosaur? I mean, of course it's a fish, but it seems like it could have like some sort of dinosaur DNA in it.
I think Dominus could swim like you know, one of those things, and that was kind of weird too, the way that it could get in there. Maybe like an ape monkey dinosaur, one that could like climb the trees really, really fast and like jump from tree to tree. That would be scary.
Yeah, you guys would get a run for your money with that one.
Oh,
Well,
that would be like
guys.
What's the movie that just came out? That'd be like a Godzilla and King
like a
Kong
Godzilla
mix.
Kong
Yeah.
thing. Like
Yeah.
a whole collaboration.
Oh, that would be scary.
Well, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.